Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at a edible and medicinal plant. We're going to be taking a look at lamb's quarter. So it's been maybe a month, I think just a little bit less than a month, that I did a video and I planted lamb's quarter that came in a packet. The packet came in one of Creek Stewart's pocket boxes. So I kind of was saving the seeds. I tilled up the ground here. I planted some lamb's quarter here, as well as mullein. And then I've got a few other wild edibles and, pollination type plants spread out around the property. So I'm out here today just taking a look at the patch and seeing how things are going. And if I was attempting to grow poison ivy, I would be a professional at it. I've got a lot of poison ivy here, as well as oaks. I've got several small oak trees that are growing, so that's kind of weird. I do not see any lamb's quarter. I do not see any mullein right now. Now, it's probably too early to completely wash this off, but I think I would have been seeing something right now. So luckily a friend of mine watched the video and he is just swimming in lamb's quarter, so he picked some and gave it to me. I'm going to actually try to transplant some of his plants because he brought me plants, roots and all, as well as we'll just go over the plant as well as some of the uses for it. So if this is the kind of thing you like to see, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment in the comment box, and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Burning River Bushcraft. I also teach outdoor classes at outdoorcore.com. So this is my kind of foraging. He gave it to me in a bag, and I emptied the bag out right here next to the garden's edge. So this is lamb's quarter, and it's very, very common. Lamb's quarter can be eaten fresh. You want to get these leaves as early as possible in the spring and use it kind of like a spinach is how it's most closely compared. Not a lot of flavor. If you were making a meal of fish, or you were lucky enough to get some small game or something, or had berries, had something else, this is almost like a filler. So there's not a lot of nutrients in these lamb's quarters, but they're pretty easy to catch. You don't have to trap them, you don't have to hunt them. So it's important to get any kind of fresh greens if you're living on a wilderness type diet. So if I'm only eating what I can catch or trap or hunt, that makes it super important to know as many wild edibles as possible. So lamb's quarter in the woods, if you see it, the plant's commonly called goose foot because of the pattern of the leaf itself. So in addition to a woodland salad, which is all you're really getting at this point, we use spinach or kale or anything like that normally in a soup. So if you had a rabbit or had fish stock and you were cooking it down after days and you had picked the meat off and were just cooking the bone broth down, this would be a great way to supplement that and bulk up that stew itself. Now, if you were using this at home, again, you want to incorporate wild edibles as much as possible. You can substitute this anytime you have spinach in a recipe. So this is a small plant and you do want to harvest these as early as possible. The leaves start to get bitter later in the summer. And additionally to being an edible plant, this is also a medicinal plant, and actually it's a pretty decent time of year to need this. Probably the best use of this medicinally is to make a spit poultice. So I've just got a wad of leaves right here, and it's not too hard to find an insect bite. I have a mosquito bite right here on my upper arm. So anytime you've got a bite, an insect bite of some type like this also works for sunburn. So any kind of topical skin irritation, you just get a handful of these leaves and you're just going to make a spit poultice, which is as simple as it sounds. I'm just going to chew these up and just apply the pulp of the leaves with as much juice as possible right directly on my skin. Now, this is not the most sanitary thing. So if you see maybe your kids have sunburn or something, they're probably not going to appreciate you chewing up a plant and putting it right directly on them. But on myself, I have no issue doing it. So again, right here is my fresh mosquito bite. And something like this, I'm just going to hold it on here temporarily. You could wrap a bandana around it, especially in the evening. If this spit poultice dried out, I would just add more to it. So I want to keep this wet. You can use this and just kind of grind it up a little bit, like a mortar and pestle if you had access to a kitchen. But this is woodland medicine. This is bushcraft stuff, in my opinion. So I'm just going to make quick spit poultice, put it on here. It's going to remove the irritation from the bite, and do that with carrying nothing. So I could just take a bandana out of my pocket, wrap it around here, keep it on as long as possible, and it's gonna reduce swelling, take out some of the itch, and it's gonna make your life a whole lot better in the woods. All right, Jim, well, thank you very much for the lamb's quarter stash. This is something that would make a decent salad right here. Because I've got roots and all, I'm just gonna transplant this. I'm gonna hope that it takes better than the seeds did, and I can have my own little stash of medicinal plants and edible plants right here in my backyard. So if you see this plant, ID it, cross-reference it with a couple different wild plant books. I use Peterson is my main one that I use. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.